We may only be about less than 2 weeks into the college football season, but man, what if I tell you that I have one of the most fascinating matchups in the entirety of the G5 happening in week number 2, as that is the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers coming in with a 2-0 record thus far to begin the year. They're going to make the field trip up to Toledo, Ohio to play in the Glass Bowl in order to take on the Toledo Rockets, who are coming off of a close and competitive loss to the Kentucky Wildcats, a game that we will have on the college football red zone live stream this Saturday. And for those that are looking to watch this game, this is going to be a 7 p.m. kickoff on ESPN Plus. Obviously, this is going to have some high stakes early on in the year, as this is a possible pecking order game, as we have, a projected top team in the Conference USA playing a projected top team in the MAC. And it also has those higher CFP implications as well, which is a big reason why we do have this game as a CFP elimination game. Now, the Hilltoppers, they're arriving with some extraordinary momentum after back-to-back wins, showcasing straight-up dominance in its first 2 games of the season, winning by an average of 33 points per game. Granted, it's Sam Houston, which, we'll wait and see how good Sam Houston is as the season progresses, as well as North Alabama, which is an FCS program. Which is why I actually do believe this is a critical game in particular for Western Kentucky, because we do think this is going to be their most difficult game that they've played thus far in the young season, going up against this Toledo squad who just went into Lexington, and, they didn't pull the upset off, but they did keep it close. They covered. It was a one-possession game, and listen, Tucker Gleason, he looks solid out there. They threw multiple touchdown passes, and they actually even outgained Kentucky from a total yardage standpoint. It's just when it mattered the most, they just couldn't get those timely plays in order to actually put points on the board. So that's really why I believe, particularly for Western Kentucky, this is a really good game, just to see how for real this Hilltopper team is, not just to help them out and boost confidence as they, try to get back to the Conference USA Championship that they made it to last season, but really how do they stack up compared to the rest of the G5, with the Conference USA currently being perceived as one of the lesser conferences in conference football, really down there, really below a level of a Sun Belt or a Mountain West, or even a what's the other conference that I'm looking for? The Mountain West, the Sun Belt, and I know there's another conference that I'm thinking about that is, I'm gonna complete the American. I don't know why I was having such a brain fart there. So let's talk about how I think this plays out, right? So 7 o'clock kickoff. How do we think this thing plays out, right? So we're looking at FanDuel right now, and FanDuel is a lot more favorable to the Toledo Rockets than we are. FanDuel, as of right now, the recording of this video, they have it as Toledo as a 6.5-point favorite, but we do think that there is a world where we think that this is a much more competitive game than anticipated. Granted, we still think Toledo should be favored, don't get me wrong, but we actually think that Toledo should only be like a 3.5-point favorite, not a 6.5-point favorite. So I do obviously expect this to be one of the more entertaining G5 versus G5 matchups during the course of Saturday night. But really taking a look at things, I think that Toledo still pulls through for a multitude of reasons. One, I think that this is a team that's going to play with a little bit more urgency after they already have a loss on the season in Lexington. Granted, maybe it's a loss that you're expecting to take going on the road in an SEC environment. But I think the team does rally together and plays with a little bit more urgency than what the Hilltoppers are going to play with on the other sideline. And then in addition to that, too, you got to realize they have that home field advantage. And it's quietly one of the better home field advantage in all of the G5 when it comes to the Glass Bowl. So, granted, while Western Kentucky, I think, is going to put points up on the scoreboard, this is not going to be a team that's, it's going to be held in check, right? Western Kentucky, they're going to get their points up on the scoreboard. I do think that Toledo does enough defensively to slow them down, and I think it is a legit defense. given that they held Kentucky to just 24 points. Plus, Toledo also is going to employ a balanced attack. It's going to be one of the more balanced offenses, unlike a Sam Houston, where there was a little bit of imbalance there, and the same could be said about North Alabama as well, which Western Kentucky did play up against just this past week. So I do think Western Kentucky does cover as a road underdog. I do think that absolutely does happen, but I also don't believe that they're going to be leaving Toledo, Ohio with another win under their belt. I think the Hilltoppers do take that first loss of the season, while Toledo does get it into the win column for the very first time in the 2025 college football season. So I have Toledo coming out on top, maybe a little bit more of a defensive battle than what Western Kentucky experienced in the Sam Houston game back in week number 0. But I think Toledo does end up winning 30-26, which I think does end up turning into a wildly entertaining matchup to watch.